Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. It is ICR Daredevil, bringing you another episode in our WCW series. Yeah, we're on the road to Halloween Havoc 1997. And I don't do this very often, but definitely leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff to the channel. On the road to 300 subscribers, which would be really awesome to get before the end of the year. That'd be really cool. Also, as you see there on the screen, you can follow me over on Twitter, or X as it is now, Sierra Dare 005, where you can get updates on the videos, as well as, me live tweeting different wrestling events I'm watching at the time. And then you can follow us over on Twitch. We did a stream a couple days ago, where we started a save in running NXT in 2014, which is very interesting to see. We're going to try to do at least once a week streaming, probably twice a week. I have to figure out another day. I have to figure out the second day I'm going to be doing it, but for sure we're going to start doing Friday afternoons. I guess Friday late evenings, late afternoon, early evening, whatever. I got to figure out another day during the week that's going to work out for a stream as well, but for sure we're doing that at least, so definitely go do that. But shilling aside, we are on the road to Halloween Havoc, and we have a lot of stuff happening on this episode of Nitro, which is taking place in front of 18,183 people at the Kiel Center, where we start things off with Eric Bischoff in the ring, putting over the NWO before he gets interrupted by Roddy Piper. I kind of skipped over Bischoff's part because there really isn't anything of note. He's just putting over the NWO. He's talking about how great they are, about how Brett's going to win the world title tournament, about how, Steven Regal will bring the United States Championship to the NWO, and just kind of putting over the group itself. When Roddy Piper comes out, Piper says, you're putting over the NWO like crazy. And to be fair, they do have a lot of championships or championship matches upcoming. But along the way, they made some enemies too. I don't know if you remember a guy who's a former WCW World Champion, who the NWO took out a long time ago, who we haven't seen in a long time, all that stuff. He wants revenge. He wants revenge on the New World Order for what they did. So, tonight, in the main event, it is going to be Bret Hart to get a little bit of warm-up before Halloween Havoc. And he can team up with any member of the NWO that he wants to. But he better think carefully, because standing across from him in that ring is going to be none other than Ric Flair, his opponent at Halloween Havoc. The crowd goes crazy. And his tag team partner, a man making his return after months away from WCW, the former WCW World Heavyweight Champion, the Macho Man, Randy Savage. And the place loses their minds. Randy Savage is back in WCW. Eric Bischoff is completely stunned by this announcement, and Piper just smirks and kind of waves at Bischoff and walks away. So that's your main event for this evening. It's going to be Ric Flair and Randy Savage making his WCW return after being away for months, taking on Bret Hart and a member of the New World Order. Yeah, Savage is back. Kayfabe was injured by the New World Order many months ago. In truth, he was in rehab, but he is back from rehab, so we'll have to see. I'm sure he's going to be a little rusty because I don't think he's had a match since, I think it was either December or earlier this year. So it's been a while since he's had a match. No, I take that back. I think he had a match in late January, if I remember right. So he's probably going to be a little rusty, but, hey, he's still back. He is still back in wanting to get his hands on the New World Order, which he will get to here tonight. Then, we have an opening contest to see Booker T defeat Big Bubba Rogers in 10-11. When Rogers gets disqualified after Dustin Rhodes ran in and attacked Booker T, this gets a 74 rating. Lost seat for the storyline, but that's fine. 83 from Booker, 59 from Rogers. Essentially, this was, just telling the story of Booker T and Dustin Rhodes. Um, in a little bit of a twist, this was also telling a secondary story. The commentators kind of revealed that Miss York signed Big Bob Rogers up for this matchup against Booker T because of their struggle, because of the struggles recently that Big Bob Rogers and Shane Helms has had. So York signed him up for this matchup because she wants to see if he's really proven himself over. And I mean, I guess technically, I mean, he lost, but it technically wasn't his fault. He got DQ because somebody else ran in. So I don't know. We'll have to see about that. But the main focus here is that Dustin Rhodes is attacking Booker T. Continuing on that story, of course, last week, Booker T's basically threatened, basically all but promised that he was going to interfere in that matchup, in that tournament, that second round tournament matchup that Dustin Rhodes has. So, this is basically Dustin Rhodes' answer to that, just attacking him during a matchup. We'll have to see what ends up happening with that. But 74 rating for this match, not a bad way to start off the match portion of Nitro here tonight. Which we've got a few matches happening tonight, which is going to be kind of crazy. This only got a 45, which is kind of a little disappointing. But Lance Storm is cutting a promo, talking about being the greatest television champion in WCW history. And that he's so great that he picks and chooses when he defends the championship. And there's no way he's defending the championship against these Midwestern yokels here tonight. The crowd boos. They're, oh, how dare you call us out? Boo, boo. And he gets interrupted by Alex Wright. Alex Wright says that that if he was a real man, if he was really the greatest television champion, like Alex Wright, strived to be when he was the television champion, then he'd be willing to put his title on the line here tonight. And Storm, after a little bit of back and forth, Storm says, all right, fine, let's make this happen. So they get ready for the matchup, Lance Storm versus Alex Wright, when all of a sudden Sexton Hardcastle and Christian Cage hit the ring and attack Alex Wright, beat him down. Turns out it was a ruse all along, and it's a 3-on-1 beatdown. Cutie Suzuki tries to get involved, but she gets attacked by Itsuki Mita, also of Team Canada. And the segment ends with Wright and Suzuki laid out on the canvas, with Team Canada standing tall. 45 rating. I was hoping for better, but I guess, to be fair, I rated... So Alex Wright and Lance Storm I rated on entertainment. Everybody else I rated on charisma. So that might have been the cause of that being so bad. Because they, everybody else's charisma stats probably aren't the greatest right now. Probably should have just rated Storm and Wright, but whatever. So there's that. Then after that, we get a 73 rated segment where Rikishi Fatu just has a quick promo backstage where he's kind of a little disappointed. He says, man, I dropped the ball against Dustin Rhodes a few weeks ago in that world title tournament match. I had the opportunity and I failed. So now I got to figure out what's next for me here in WCW. Got to figure out where I go from here, who I challenge, all that kind of stuff. So just kind of a little bit of a character development here as Fatu's trying to figure out what's next for him here in WCW. Not necessarily going to turn into a full-blown story. I do have a story in mind for him, but it's not going to necessarily be around that. It's just going to be something different. But for the time being, it's more of just him just trying to figure out what he's going to do here in WCW. Then, our first of two world title tournament matches here tonight. We see Mark defeat Meng in 8:35 when Meng gets disqualified after just beating the hell out of Mark. 75 rating for the match, 64 from Mark, 76 from Meng. Essentially, this is just Meng just beats the holy hell of Mark and refuses to listen to the referee's counts, and then eventually... sorry, yawning there. He eventually locks in the Tongan death grip, and Mark gets to the... Mark is able to get a foot on the ropes, but Meng just refuses to let go of the hold. Referee counts to 5, and Meng gets disqualified. So, 75 rating, not a bad match rating there, but Mark moves on to the second round. But, as you can see, he's still locked in the Tongan death grip, and afterwards, he's still locked in the Tongan death grip. He's still being choked out by it. Doesn't seem to really be being able to get out of it at all. He's, definitely out of it at this point. Rena's trying to get into the ring, trying to beg off Meng and all that stuff, but Raven shows up and just kind of stands in her way and just kind of stares her down. So almost as if, Mark is paying for turning on the flock right now. He's paying for what happened. We'll have to see where things go from there. Then after that, 83 rating here. Wyndham, very underwhelming, poor trying to improvise dialogue. Yeah, that sounds about right. Barry Windham and Sting are backstage, though, with Roddy Piper. They're actually back in Piper's office. And Sting says, you know what? Like, both of us have been struggling recently here at WCW. We haven't had a lot of success, but, we're still able to go in that ring. We're still able to fight. We're still able to compete. We're still able to, have great matches, all that kind of stuff. So we want to officially throw our name into contention for the tag team titles. They say that they want to work together and win the tag team titles, all that kind of stuff. Piper says, well, I mean, I'm sure Austin and Paige wouldn't mind defending the titles against anybody, but I still want to be fair about it. You guys, you've never teamed up before. I still want to be fair about it. So I'll tell you what, next week on Nitro, if you can win a tag team matchup, you've got a shot at the tag titles at Halloween Havoc. So there you go. 83 rating segment here. So we have a match next week on Nitro where it's going to be Sting and Barry Windham against someone, against some tag team. We're not sure who it is yet. But if Sting and Wyndham can win, then they get a shot at the tag titles at Halloween Havoc, which is in 13 days' time. So there you go. It'll be interesting to see if they can get the victory. 83 rating here. Wyndham, underwhelming. But Sting did really good, as did Piper. Got the crowd hotter. Sting invented a new catchphrase, so that's cool. I don't know what his catchphrase is, especially in this kind of a segment. It's time to... It's... You know what? This is 1997. He really starts putting over the it's Showtime, folks thing. Because I think that was... I don't think he really did it too much early on. I think it was more kind of later in his career when he started talking with the face paint and everything, like the darker face paint and everything like that, that he really did It's Showtime, folks. So let's pretend he invented it around this time. But there you go. Then after that, we got tag team action. Women's tag team action, that is. A 61 rated matchup. That's actually really good for the women there. As Medusa and Hikari Fukuoka, man, I gotta learn how to say some of these names because I'm just butchering them, and I apologize. But Medusa and Hikari Fukuoka defeat Bold Nakano and Mayumi Osaki in 7:51 when Fukuoka pinned Nakano with a fast roll-up. 61 rating for the match, 64 from Osaki, 55 from Nakano, 47 from Hikari, and 53 from Medusa. Of course, the main issue in this matchup was really just between Mayumi and Medusa. They've been kind of calling each other out recently, leading to a potential matchup in the near future. I'm not sure when it's happening, but so Bull Nakano and Hikari got involved in this, and Hikari gets the surprise roll up on Nakano, which is kind of crazy. Little disappointed in Hikari's in-ring performance in this matchup because normally she's been getting like low 50s. So for her to actually be featured on a Nitro match and only get a 47 is a little disappointing, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. She'll be able to turn that around. He did gain heat for the women's division storyline too, which is always a good thing. Afterwards, we lost the heat we probably just gained. Because afterwards, Nakano goes crazy and attacks Hikari. Medusa tries to help out, but she gets jumped by Ozaki. And the two heels beat down the two faces and stand tall. So Mayumi able to get a little bit of her momentum back. Her team lost the match, but she wasn't actually pinned, so she didn't really lose any momentum, but she was able to get momentum back anyway. And Nakano was able to get a little bit of revenge for taking that L in this matchup. 47 rating here, not bad. Trying to do something other than just the same, other than just the storyline around the women's world title. Trying to develop other stuff in the women's division here in WCW. Then we go backstage because we find out that there is a brawl happening. This got a 71, which is really good. It lost E for the storyline, but I will still take a 71 for these two here. As we find Paul Levesque of the New World Order and Marcus Bagwell of the Four Horsemen brawling with each other backstage. We're not sure what started it, other than the fact that, the New World Order and the Four Horsemen have been going at it a lot recently. But we're not sure what happened here, but they're brawling with each other as officials come running in to try to break things up between the two of them. So the New World Order and Four Horsemen's issues are still going on as these two are brawling with each other now. Then after that, our second matchup in the World Title Tournament, which gets a 95 rating, even with not enough selling shown. So if there was enough selling shown in this match, that might have actually been like a 98 or 99, which is absolutely insane. But in an exceptional matchup, which probably should have been the main event, I was a little nervous about this being the main event because of the lack of selling, because it was a little bit shorter, because even 10 minutes, I think Giant was probably stamina. No, it's just, okay. Giant was fine with the stamina for this. Because Giant's stamina is not that great nowadays. Not that it ever really was, but still. So I was kind of a little nervous about it. I didn't think it was going to get a 95. I thought it was going to be like 80s something. And then also, obviously having the Randy Savage return definitely had to put that in the main event as well. But this gets a 95 as Cactus Jack defeats the Giant in 10-10 by pinfall with a double arm DDT. And Cactus moves on to the second round of the WCW World Title Tournament. So that'll be interesting to see. Cactus with a 96, Giant with an 87. Yeah, I forgot to do it, but this is kind of going to end the storyline between Cactus Jack and the Giant. I've kind of done really what I can in this. I thought about continuing it on to Halloween Havoc and having them blow it off in a match and all that stuff, but I feel like I've kind of done what I'm going to do with this. And I have different plans for both of them at this point that I kind of want to get to. So we're going to be moving them on from this. So unfortunately, this feud that's been running for a while gets blown off in a match on Nitro. But to be fair, it was a really great matchup on Nitro. So there's that. But Cactus Jack gets the victory. And we'll have to see where we'll have to see where the Giant goes from here. But Cactus Jack moves on to the second round of the World Title Tournament. Then after that, 99 rated segment. Our usual odd couple segment here. But this one kind of goes along with them actually watching Nitro. As, Austin's sitting backstage, drinking a beer, watching a television backstage, watching the show. Which, thankfully enough, it's not one of those watching him things, because it's like showing a highlight of stuff early in the show. When Diamond Dallas Page walks in, he's, excited. He's like, so how's the beer? Because, of course, this is apparently the beer that Austin is drinking is beer that Page got for him. And Austin's like, this isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's not bad. Good choice here. Page is like really excited about it. And Austin's like, all right, listen. I need you to focus here. All right, like, congrats, you got me beer, whatever. Listen, we need to focus. Because I don't know if you heard, but earlier in the show, Sting and Barry Windham were talking to Roddy Piper. They want a shot at our tag team titles. And Paige is like, wait, what? And Austin's like, yeah, I mean, they haven't teamed before, as a regular tag team, but they're a threat. Like, Sting is a former world champion. Barry Windham is a former United States champion. Like, they're a threat. So we need to get our minds focused. We need to get focused here. No more running for beer. No more, getting super excited about stuff. You need to focus. You need to get your attention focused, because if they win next week on Nitro, they get a shot at their tag titles at Halloween Havoc. And that's going to be a big time matchup. So you need to focus. Paige is like, all right, I'm going to go start working out right now. And he runs off, and Austin's like, that's not what I... Just sighs and slowly gets up and walks off with the beer, heading towards Paige, heading in the direction of Paige. So there you go. So Paige apparently is going to go start working out and getting ready for a match against Sting and Barry Windham. Austin's, clearly was talking about a different kind of focus, I guess, but there you go. These two still continuing their ways with entertaining segments here for sure. Then after that, Roddy Piper's backstage in his office, gets a 92 rating as he announces more matches for Halloween Havoc. He does announce that, based off of the brawl we just saw a little bit ago here on Nitro, it will be Paul Levesque of the New World Order taking on Marcus Bagwell of the Four Horsemen at Halloween Havoc. We're also going to see, thanks to what happened last week on Nitro, we are also going to see a now triple threat match for the WCW United States Championship, as it is going to be Dean Malenko defending against Steven Regal and against Chris Benoit. He's, the reasoning being that Benoit didn't really get a fair shot at that title last week because Regal came in and interfered, cost, attacked both men. So now, if Regal wants both men so badly, he gets a chance to fight both men. He's going to do it next week, or he's going to do it at Halloween Havoc in a triple threat matchup with the United States Championship on the line. So that's going to be a really good match there as well. And then he does announce that even though it was kind of obviously official, he does announce that it will be a match for the Women's World Championship at Halloween Havoc, as it will be Megumi Kudo getting her match against Dynamite Kansai for the Women's World title. So we'll have to see who wins the title, or who has the title after Halloween Havoc. 92 rating here, as we get 3 matches announced for Halloween Havoc there, and with more to come, obviously. Speaking of the Women's World title matchup, Kudo has a promo afterwards, where she is talking with Gene Okerlund about the Dynamite Kansai, and says that she plans to regain her Women's World Championship, not just because she misses having it around her waist, not just because she sees herself as the best woman in WCW, but because she wants to see the NWO suffer. She says that she's been, ever since Malenko's been helping out with the Horsemen, she's been kind of a part of this war as well, and she wants to see the NWO suffer just as much as everyone else does. And so she plans on taking that championship from the New World Order and making them truly suffer. Because, of course, that title and the Cruiserweight title that belongs to Jerry Lynn, who is not on the show, are the only 2 championships that the NWO have at this moment in time. So if she takes one of them away, then they only have just one left. So we'll have to see what happens with there. But 71 rating, pretty good promo. The problem is that it's part of the defending WCW storyline, the Horsemen versus the New World Order one, and so of course it's going to lose heat because it's not a 90-something rated segment. But, still really good promo, regardless. Kudo and Okerlund having a 71 rated segment here is not bad. Kudo is very underwhelming, though, which is a little disappointing, but, I'll take it. Still, nice little hype for the Women's World title match happening in 13 days at Halloween Havoc. Then after that, 100 rated segment, as we see Ric Flair backstage when in walks the Macho Man Randy Savage, officially appearing for the first time on WCW in months. The crowd is going crazy for it. Flair and Savage have a little bit of a stare down because, of course, there was been some issues when Flair was here before, or not Flair, when Savage was here before. He got jumped by the New World Order, but he was having issues with the Horsemen at the time as well. At the time, the Horsemen were still kind of more bad guys, and they were still, they hadn't started their war with NWO yet, so they were kind of having wars with some of the faces here in WC, some of the good guys here in WCW, and so, because one of Savage's last matches that he had before he disappeared, taken out injury wise, whatever, was against the Horsemen. So, they're kind of a little bit of stare down. Savage is like, so I know I'm gonna butcher this. But I'm gonna try it anyway. So I know you've been doing good with going after the New World Order, and I agree with this. I see this as a good thing. I don't trust you at all. I don't think that you're gonna be a good guy. I think you're just doing this just so the Horsemen can be on top, and then you're gonna stab everyone in the back again. But you're going after my enemies right now, and so the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And Savage kind of extends his hand out, and Flair's like, listen, man, you think what you want to think. We've known each other a very long time. We've gone to war against each other. We've gone to war with each other. All I'm focused on tonight is getting my hands on Bret Hart and making the NWO suffer. And they shake hands. So a little bit of a segment here before the main event. 100 rating, as Randy Savage is officially back on TV. And the match gets an 87. That's not bad, honestly. Especially since Flair and Savage don't have team chemistry at all. That's not bad. As in about that fantastic heat, great wrestling. Both sides go to a double disqualification. As the match just goes out of control and breaks down into chaos. Sean Waltman was one that got picked by Brett to team up with him tonight. And it goes into a draw. Following double disqualification in 12:25. Bret Hart head on the shoulders of everyone. He had a 97. 84 from Flair, 74 from Waltman, and 67 from Savage. I'm going to guess that Flair and Savage's in-ring performances got hurt a little bit because of their team chemistry, but this is also why. So originally I was going to put this as a single matchup. I was going to have just Bret versus Savage. Bret versus Savage. But then I looked at Randy Savage's stamina, and it has gone down over the last few months. So I was like, you know what? I don't know that I could put him in a decently long main event match. So I'm going to make it a tag team situation. So that's what we did here. So 87 is still a really good rating for this, and a gained heat for the storyline, even if Savage and Flair's team chemistry isn't good. I just want to look and see. He's being rusty and he's declining physically. So, got to deal with that. But Bret and Sean Waltman go to a draw with Randy Savage and Ric Flair here. And afterwards, it's just a big old brawl. Both sides brawling with each other to end Nitro. Gets a 73 rating here. The show itself gets a 93. I will gladly take that. Cactus Jack and the Giant definitely helped us out with that rating. So did the Savage and Flair segment as well as the Odd Couple segment. Piper's segment of announcing Halloween Havoc stuff helped out too. There you go. 37 regions, increasing popularity in. I will take it as we continue to try to become just a mega power in wrestling, honestly. I think we're already first in the world when it comes to company stuff. I don't remember if I've actually shown this or not, but we are number one. We're still number one. We might have taken over number one from WWF a while ago, actually. But we're still number one. We're the only large-size company in the game right now. WWF is number 2 behind us. So there's that. Catchphrase from Sting. Everybody really loved the "It's Showtime, folks" thing. I'm gonna be changing Sting's picture here soon, by the way, because especially with what I have planned for him storyline-wise, I don't plan on him being like this darker of character. Like I plan on him being more of the face painted that is a little bit more like positive kind of thing, because he's not really necessarily the Crow character as much anymore. But yeah, good stuff there. Ratings for the week. Oh, a couple thousand viewers short of 9 million this week. We had a 93 rating for our show. Raw had 3.7 million watching, and they had an 87, so they got really good this week. They had a main event of Shawn Michaels defeating Diesel and Yokozuna to retain the world title. You know what? That makes sense why you had a really great main event then. Or a really good show rating. Also had Psycho Sid and Scott Hall defeat Jerry Lawler and the Warrior to an 86 rating, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. I don't know how the hell that match got an 86, but whatever. Also, how is Team Pinnacle and Team Midnight not like done feuding with each other yet? Because those two teams have fought about 1 billion times. And if I did that, the game would have yelled at me for booking the same match too many times in a short amount of time. But apparently that doesn't work for the opponents. Apparently the AI doesn't have to worry about that. Nevertheless, it was a really good show for Nitro this week. Saturday night happened as well. We saw Shane Helms defeat Scott Armstrong. And then Miss York and Shane Helms were celebrating afterwards. Rogers showed up to try to celebrate as well, and York was still a little cold towards Rogers. We had a Brad Armstrong promo. Miss Janeth and Nanae Takahashi had a promo before they had a match with Takahashi winning the match. Alex Wright had a promo kind of responding to what happened at Nitro, and saying that he's going to get, when he gets the opportunity to, he's going to get his revenge on Lance Storm. We had a little continuation of the storyline with the Mayhem Express and Rick Martel. Don Marie trying to recruit Rick Martel to the Mayhem Express. Then we had a promo with the Outlaws before they went out and had a match with Caribbean Express. And the Caribbean Express actually pulled the victory. Caribbean Express, of course, being Jesus Castillo Jr. and Miguel Perez Jr. So they actually pulled off a victory over the Outlaws. So interesting to see there. But that was a 54 for each Saturday night, which wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. So there you go, folks. Another episode of WCW in the books. As we are on the road to Halloween Havoc next week. Of course, will be the go-home show, that is, of Nitro for Halloween Havoc itself. We'll have to see if Sting and Wyndham can get a shot at the tag team titles. We'll have to see the continuation of everything else going on. We'll have to see if Savage, has anything to say over after that return and the match that he had, and so much more. So thank you all for watching. Definitely appreciate it. And we will see you in this series next week on Monday.